What if I told you that you could change your mood as easily as flipping a light switch? Seriously. Today, we're going to break down a simple formula that can take you from feeling down in the dumps to feeling better in, yes, under 15 seconds. You know how it is, right? One tiny thing goes wrong. You spill your coffee, you hit a bit of traffic, someone makes a weird comment, and bam, your whole day just feels shot. You get stuck in this negative spiral and it feels like there's no way out.
Well, it turns out you actually have a control panel for your mood. Your brain has these three incredibly powerful switches that can literally turn off that sadness and turn on a sense of happiness almost instantly. And you're going to want to stick around because that third switch, it's the most powerful one of all. Now, to really use these switches, you have to get one thing straight. Your brain's main job is not to keep you happy. Nope. It's a survival machine, and it's designed to react super fast to threats. The secret to controlling your mood is understanding how that reaction works, and then using these switches to hijack the system.
Okay, so let's get into our first switch. This one is so cool because it's all about using your own body to send a signal back to your brain. You're basically changing your emotional state from the outside in. I actually want you to try this with me right now, wherever you are. First, just gently raise your eyebrows a tiny bit. Good. Now unclench your jaw. Let it go completely loose. And finally, just let the corners of your mouth lift up ever so slightly. We're not talking a big cheesy grin, just a soft, gentle smile. Now, hold that for 15 seconds. So what's actually happening in your brain while you're doing that? It's amazing. Your face is sending a direct message that says, hey, we're safe. And your brain listens. It starts turning down the stress chemicals like cortisol and starts releasing the good stuff like dopamine and endorphins. So here's the absolute key. Stop waiting to feel happy before you smile. It just doesn't work that way. Your brain responds way faster to physical cues than it does to thoughts. So you have to change the physical signal first. The emotion? It'll catch up. All right, on to switch number 2. This one is absolutely essential for stopping those negative thought spirals before they completely take over your day. You know that feeling I'm talking about? You're caught in an emotional storm. One bad thought leads to another, and pretty soon you're just totally overwhelmed, like you're caught in a downpour of stress or anxiety. Well, this switch is what lets you change your whole perspective. Instead of being out there in the storm getting soaked, you get to step inside, where it's safe, and just watch the storm from a window. And the way you do it is almost laughably simple. You just calmly state the emotion you're feeling. You can say it to yourself or out loud. You're not judging it. You're not trying to fix it. You're just naming it. Okay, I am feeling stressed right now. That's it. The second you name that feeling, you flip a switch. It literally shifts control away from the reactive, emotional part of your brain and hands it over to the logical, observing part. See, your brain can't be in a full-on panic and be calmly aware at the exact same time. Naming the feeling breaks the cycle and immediately takes away its power. And that brings us to our third and honestly most powerful switch. This one cuts right to the heart of how our brains actually create feelings like happiness and motivation in the first place. You know, we tend to think that happiness is this big prize we get after we achieve something huge. But that's a total myth. Your brain doesn't release dopamine, that's the chemical of reward and motivation, for the final success. It releases little hits of it for the small steps of progress you make along the way. And this is probably the biggest mistake we all make. We sit around waiting to feel motivated so we can take action. But if you look at the brain chemistry, that's completely backwards. You have to take a tiny action first. That action creates a little feeling of progress, which releases some dopamine. And that dopamine is what creates motivation. Action always has to come first.
And this is where the micro win comes into play. You pick a task that is so ridiculously small it's almost impossible not to do it. Something that takes less than 20 seconds. So you don't clean the whole kitchen, you just wash one cup. You don't write the whole paper, you just write one sentence. You're not going for a 5-mile run, you're just putting on your shoes.
When you complete that tiny little task, your brain gets a nice hit of dopamine. And that chemical reward doesn't just feel good for a second. It actually sharpens your focus, it boosts your energy, and it creates a real feeling of hope. It makes taking that next small step so much easier. So let's put all this together. Let's look at the simple but incredibly powerful control panel you've just built for managing your own mind and your own mood.
The next time you feel that wave of overwhelm coming on, you have a 1-minute mood reset. First, use your face. Send that safe signal to your brain. Second, name the feeling to get some distance from it. And third, get one tiny little micro win to get a rush of dopamine. In less than 60 seconds, you can completely change the state of your nervous system.
And this is the real secret, right here. This isn't about waiting for your life circumstances to change so you can finally feel better. It's about realizing you have the power to actively change your own brain chemistry in any moment. Now that is real control.
So, just remember this. Happiness isn't something you find out there. It's something you activate from within. You have the switches now. So the only question is, the next time you feel that negativity creeping in, when are you going to decide to flip yours on?